All right, hello. It's February 20th, 2023, and it's about 9 o'clock, and yeah, we overperformed again today. Starting off looking at the high temperatures today because we got into the low 60s across much of Long Island, except maybe the east end and the immediate south shore. And as you head west here, even warmer in parts of central New Jersey, or it was in the mid 60s. So way above normal. No records broken today, I don't believe, but way, way above what we were supposed to be today. If we look at the islip climatological update for today, you'll see we're way above normal. So we thought it would be in the upper 50s today, 55 to 60. We managed to get above that. So if we go to the daily climate report from islip, you'll see our high was 61. Actually came within 3 degrees of reaching the record at 64, which was only set in 2015, by the way. I'm in 2018. And you could see the normal value is supposed to be 42, so we were nearly 20 degrees above normal today. That's right, 20 degrees above normal. How about that? You can see last year we had 36 for a high and 17. Much better, much more normal. That's what we're supposed to see. But again, that's not what we're seeing because, again, as we deal with this climate crisis that we're in that just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And it's just crazy weather pattern on top of it. So let's go to the preliminary monthly data for islip, and I want to look at that, and you'll see how much above normal we're running now. So we're running about 6 degrees above normal for the month already. So it'll be interesting to see if this will be the warmest February on record or not. But we still have more warm weather to get through, though it won't be quite as warm as it has been, but it's still going to be above normal for a lot of days this upcoming week. So let's go back to this map here. Look at the current conditions right now, and you'll see the temperatures have dropped. We had a sea breeze come in, cooled things off a little more later as we got toward the afternoon. We'll go ahead and look at what the day was like at islip. Again, right now it's 46. If we look here, you'll see we had west winds in the afternoon with the sun coming out, hazy sunshine breaking out. And that's what got us into the low 60s. You see that west wind, but then as we got toward later on in the early evening hours, that's when the wind became more southwest and brought in a sea breeze. And now the winds are more or less calm. Looking at the weather map, you'll see we have a cold front that's draped almost across our area. So that's going to be the focal point for some rain overnight into tomorrow. So let's go back to this here, and we'll give you a look at what's going on across the entire country. You'll also notice coastal flood advisories in effect because of astronomical high tide as well. So we'll have to watch out for that too if you're along the coast. But all the winter weather action is out west, as you see here. This is where they got winter storm warnings in effect for many areas in the upper Midwest areas here. And wind and high wind warnings in effect from 1 p.m. Tuesday to 10 a.m. on Wednesday. So they're going to have some very strong winds here as well. You can also see, that looks like a red flag warning in effect as well. Is that a red flag warning? Let's go ahead and look at that. That looks like that's in northwestern Texas there. Yeah, red flag warning because of the low humidity. All the storminess is basically out west, as we know. And when we look at this map again, you'll see that's where you see this next storm coming here. This will be the next storm that will cause all that. But for us, again, we're not going to see any of that. So here's day 2. Actually, we moved it ahead here. So here's day 2. You can see that storm coming in. And day 3, there you go. And you see that big, long, warm front there. That could actually cause some ice up to our north. That's going to be something we're going to have to look at as well. Looking at the current radar, you see some shower activity in northeastern Pennsylvania, a little bit up near Connecticut, a little bit of snow mixing in there around the Massachusetts border, but it's mostly rain here. Looks like some showers, some heavier ones around Pittsburgh. And then if we go out west, we don't see too much going on yet, but that will become more active as we get toward tomorrow. So let's start with let's go to this. Looking at our skies, first of all, you'll see we had the high clouds, and then that hazier sunshine broke out late in the afternoon. That got us up there. Now you see some clouds over us. So we did get a little more sun than I was expecting. But again, the rain was overdone, particularly by, again, Channel 12. I knew that it wasn't going to rain today. Anyway, let's go take a look. That's because, again, the weather person that works on the weekends likes the rain, and she loves to forecast rain. That's why we call her Mrs. Umbrella. But anyway, let's talk about talk about what we got going on right now. So, and we will first start with the jet stream pattern, because obviously we're waiting for that pattern to change. We've had, in fact, let's go all the way to the northern hemisphere and explain to you what we're going to see here changing. So if we go up here and we look at the polar vortex, you'll see that the polar vortex has weakened a lot. There's a stratospheric warming event. Supposedly that helps to bring cold air. There's another one that will develop again last couple of days of February. So this could help weaken and eventually dissipate the polar vortex, which will hopefully maybe allow some more cold air to come down. All right. So let's go to the North American view, and we will go and we'll look at the jet stream now. And I'm sticking with the GFS here on this particular run. So, because the GFS has just been the most consistent at this point. So you'll see the pattern we're in now. It's just a zonal pattern across the whole country, except for the west, where you got this really weird trough there, really weird shaped trough there. You can see those zonal, and then as we get toward Thursday, here's the ridging that may try to bring some warm air into our area. And you can see, look at how strong the jet stream is over us on Friday. Again, really just almost like a fire hose, just a zonal jet, just from all the way from the southwest all the way to the northeast, with some ridging, some flat ridging there going on. You can see that really unusually shaped trough there out west. This is strange, to say the least, to have a trough shaped like this. That's not normal for a trough to really be oriented like that. That's very unusual. But because of that, that's where the snow, that's where the cold, that's where the storminess is going to be. For us, we just deal with systems going into the Great Lakes. And you can see here, there's no real big trough in the east. Here we go. The troughiness just wants to stay out west. Get a little bit of action here. Again, but again, look, it still wants to stay out west. This western Atlantic ridge does not want to budge very much. And that's the problem. If we want to see any kind of winter weather over here, or even any Arctic air for that matter, there's no Arctic air coming here. All right? So let's look at the upper air, 500 MB here, and you'll see what we have. So as we head into you can see the ridge is with us now. You see there's like a broad, almost like a broad like trough, very flat trough comes in here. Here's Tuesday, all right? And then you'll see, look at how the troughiness is out west. We've got the ridge in the east. This is not a pattern for cold or snow, for that matter. And you can see it just doesn't want to break down. It tries to toward the end of the period, but here we are. Now we're at March 8th already. So you can see there is some blocking in Greenland, which could help bring some cold air down, but it's going to go out west. That's the problem that we have right now. So let's go to the CONUS view, and we will go and look at the surface map. So as we go into tomorrow, you'll see there's a little disturbance there along our stall front. You can see the storm out west, how tight those isobars are. That's going to bring some snow. Again, to a lot of areas in the west, they're going to see snow and very heavy snow. And but for us, you can see there's a big warm front there, right there coming in, a really long warm front that will be, again, this is the warm front right here. This is Thursday, and the question is, how far north does this warm front get? Because there is some very warm air behind that front right there. Right, you should see how warm it's been in Florida lately, because it's been very warm in Florida. If we look at Florida here, I think they've been having some 90-degree temperatures, which is very unusual for, let's see, Miami here. Let's see, I think they've gotten up to 90 today, right? They've gotten up to the 80s, but I think they will have some 90-degree temperatures with this warm air coming in. All right, they've been in the 80s. That's still above normal for them. All right, so getting back to this. So this is some really warm air right from the Gulf of Mexico. That's behind this warm front. Cold front is over here. All right, this is the cold front right here. But you can see the low is going to go over the Great Lakes. That's the storm track again. So here's a low up into the Great Lakes. So chances are we just be dealing with rain, but there could be in the inland valleys where the cold air hangs on, there could be some ice issues there because the cold air will be too shallow to generate snow. And then as you see, we get into Thursday, you'll see we just have chances of rain. That low goes up into the Great Lakes, but kind of just scoots, and then it scoots due east. And then we have some colder air moving in Friday into Saturday. That high moves offshore. And then by the time the next system comes, its track would mostly be rain. Snow upstate, perhaps, but rain. This is the last weekend of February here. As we go into Monday, the last couple of days of February, that low is just moving offshore because, again, there's no trough in the east. The storm track is just, this is another one that wants to kind of take it a little further south here. But this is just a model bias. I think in time this is going to come up, so don't get your hopes up for, this looks like it could be a major snowstorm. Well, the pattern just doesn't support it. We want to have the trough in the east. We want to have a bit of a negative tilt. We want to have a big, strong high over New England here that's going to stay there instead of just moving offshore. But that's the problem. So there's another storm there for Tuesday. And then, another one right into the Great Lakes again, and another one. So it's just one after another that are going to the Great Lakes, basically. All right, so looking at our temperature anomaly chart here, and you'll see way above normal in the east here, way above normal. There's the cold air. So if you're in the Dakotas, Montana, you'll get some cold air. Even parts of Colorado, that might be Arctic air there. But for us, we're dealing with above normal temperatures, and you can see much above normal comes very close to us on Thursday. There's going to be a front that's going to be stalled over us. There may be some cold air damming to keep that front from moving through. And then as we get into Friday, you'll see the front comes through. We go below normal. And for a little bit, Saturday, below normal, but then, and that one probably won't be Arctic air. It'll just be Canadian air, but at least it'll be below normal. Then we go above normal again. Here we are Monday, Tuesday, maybe a little bit below normal, but you'll see no real Arctic air for us in here. And again, it's all the cold air just wants to stay in the upper Midwest to the west, and we're still dealing with that damn ridge that we're dealing with. All right, and yes, it will be pretty warm in certain parts of Florida. It will get very warm. They're going to be getting close to 90 in parts of Florida here. Just look at this. I don't usually use this, but it can illustrate the warmth that's going to try to make a run at our area here. While DC is going to be 80, you're going to be below zero out west in some of these areas here. It's ridiculous. And it will be humid air, too, by the way. So let's take a closer look at our area. And I guess before I get started, let's go to the Climate Prediction Center because there'll be no surprises here. 6 to 10 day, we're on the border of above normal. The only area that's below in the east is Maine, basically. Otherwise, it's near normal, but well below normal in the west. 8 to 14 day, we're back in the above normal again. So you can see the pattern here. We've got this damn ridge that just doesn't want to break down in the east. This is going to be the warmest winter on record. This is just crazy. Look at how much above normal in the southeast there. It just shows you how strong that southeast ridge is. It's just nuts. It really is nuts. It's nuts. And the southeast ridge is just insane. We go over here. We'll look at the sea surface temperature anomalies again. Because actually above normal sea surface temperature anomalies, which you can see all on the east coast here, help sustain that ridge. They do. Meanwhile, if we look at the Pacific, you'll see that La Nina is fading. So let's go back to the models here, and we'll go to the HRRR model, and we'll look at the more near term here, and we'll start with the precipitation view here. So later tonight, probably after midnight, we'll have some light rain come through. That'll last till around 8 o'clock in the morning. Then a break, and then this area of showers comes through around 4 or 5 o'clock. It should be a brief area of showers that come through. It almost looks like there's some convection there, maybe a heavy downpour, maybe even a thunderstorm could not be ruled out. And then this is almost with like a kind of a cold front, I guess you could say, or another front so to speak. A very weak high pressure system builds in, keeps us dry for a very short amount of time, because once we get toward later on in Wednesday, guess what? Rain chances return. Just a chance for some light rain. This almost looks like a warm front here. So this is Wednesday night into Thursday, and that looks like a warm front. You can see all the activity there, shower and thunderstorm activity, some heavy stuff up into the Great Lakes there. All right, so I'm going to now go and look at the dew points, because that really does look like a warm front. And remember, the GFS doesn't want to bring that warm front through, but we have to look at some of the other models. We start with the HRRR. So obviously tonight, the winds will become easterly, and you have drier air in place for tomorrow. You'll see the north wind, which is kind of surprising that you would have that kind of activity along this front. But you see the border here. There's some drier air that's going to help cause some lift in the atmosphere. And then the winds go northwest after that tomorrow night. But then they back again to the south later Wednesday afternoon. And then this is as far as we got here. But you can clearly see that warm front there. You can clearly see it. All right. That's some pretty warm air behind that front. We'll shift this over to the temperatures now, so you can get a chance to see. All right, this is your air temperatures, and you'll see here we're in the 30s. So let's go back to tomorrow. So tomorrow will be cooler. You'll notice though over Jersey again, because they're further closer to that. We have a stall front over us. They're going to be on the south end of that. They're going to probably be dealing with mid 50s, while we're going to be dealing with mid 40s, and then we drop into the 30s. And then maybe a little bit below freezing Tuesday night with a little bit of cold air advection. And then for Wednesday, we'll have mid-40s. But you notice that warm air getting closer and closer and closer. You can see that warm air is going to overrun the cold air, which could cause, again, we have to watch for that ice as we get into Thursday. This is as far as I got on the HRRR on this model. Let's go to the GFS. Points. All right, so this is the GFS here. See the same, pretty much in agreement. Look at how close this warm front gets on Thursday. So here you go. This kind of shows it here. Northeast winds over us. We're in the cold air, maritime polar air, and you can see the tropical air that is moving in over New Jersey. GFS doesn't seem quite as aggressive now. It seems like it's backed off a little bit on the warmth, because it was showing near 80. So it looks like maybe it's backed off a little bit on it. We'll have to see if that ramps up that warmth again. But either way, that little wave there passes, and then we have the front come through here, and here we go. Much colder air on Friday, northwest winds, drier air, and maybe a little bit of an Arctic element, but it's already retreating as we get towards Saturday. And then by Sunday, that's it. Then another little blast of some cold air Monday. And then, here comes another. This is the storm system that could be something interesting, perhaps, but it's a week away, and it is the 18Z run, which always seems to want to show something on that. But at least it's trying to get some more cold air in here. I mean, it's better than what we've been getting. So looking at your actual air temperatures here. Actually, I was looking at dew points. I realized I was looking at dew points. It has backed off a little bit on the temperatures. I realized I was looking at dew points and not air temperatures. My mistake. But anyway, you can see it's backed off a little bit on the warmth here into Thursday. Originally, it had things in the 80s. Now it's more like mid 70s. But you can see, look at that. So it could be, you can see where the southern half of Jersey is going to be very warm, and we're going to be dealing with 30s. You can see though, this is the GFS. It keeps it to the south. All right, and then for Friday, much colder conditions, as we have temperatures basically in the mid-30s, which is going to be a little bit below normal for a change Friday night. So it will actually feel cold. It'll feel like February. Saturday, too, as well. We'll have a couple of days there. And then Sunday, we're probably back already up into the low 40s. And then you'll see, again, some colder weather trying to get on Monday and Tuesday. This may actually help keep us from setting the record for the warmest February on record, perhaps. And then look at this, some colder air trying to come in again for March here. So it is trying to show some cold air, but we have stall fronts and not a really big trough here. So let's go look at the precipitation here on this. And this is the concern that we have, obviously, once we get, is the ice that's going to happen. This is going to be overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. You can see the ice that could wind up developing to our north. could be a significant icing event for north of our area because there's going to be some low-level cold air into the north of that snow, all right? And then our next system here kind of gets, it's weak, so it doesn't really cause that. And then we have already the high over us, so it's the high offshore, so that would be rain for next weekend. And then the low departs there, and you can see it's starting to strengthen as it moves further away. But that would pull down some cold air in time for maybe this next storm. If this next storm would be further south, perhaps this could be a snow event. It's really close, and of course, I don't think it was there on the 12Z. See, the 12Z is much weaker, has a much weaker system. The 18Z, of course, always trying to have a stronger system there. But you could see that could bring some snow to our area there. That could bring some snow. That would be a significant snowfall right there. And just to, get everybody excited, we'll look at this. But chances of this happening are really small. Give us over a foot of snow. Obviously, let's go to the 12Z. You'll see 12Z only gives us a couple of inches, an inch or two. All right, so this is just your usual fantasy storm that's way out there, 216 hours. That's probably not going to happen. All right, you can get excited about it, but chances of it happening are small. Given what we've seen this entire season, it's just a bias in the model. That's all it is. All right. So let's look at a few more models here. We'll look at the Icon model as well with the warmth. And the Icon still wants to bring that warmth a lot closer to us. So there's a big disagreement here on the Icon model. You see, look at how much closer that warmth gets. Icon brings it in all the way up to most of New Jersey and has the marine air kind of just parked over Long Island here. But Jersey would get into the mid-70s, and except maybe even 80 degrees. All right, and it's going to be humid air. Well, this doesn't show the dew points, but it's going to be humid air as well. So this is the Icon model, European model, also bringing that warm air closer, but not quite close into our area. But you see, it comes close. But generally speaking, I think we have the cold air damming in our favor. So I'm hoping that it would keep the warmth away, because if we got into this warmth, this would break a lot of records. This would break the records we just set. I mean, it's going to be even warmer. I don't want to think about it. I was feeling sick today from the warmth. I don't want to think about how warm that would be if that winds up getting in here. NAM 12. I don't think the NAM 12 is going to go far enough out. All right, so back to the GFS. Let's look and see how much rain we're going to get this weekend. Total accumulated precip, because it actually won't actually be all that much rain. I meant this week here. We're not going to really pick up that much rain until we get to that overnight Wednesday, Thursday period. We might see a little more rain from that warm front that comes through overnight. All right. After that, we're not really going to deal with too many rain chances through the weekend. But if I go all the way through here, it has a very wet period here. It gives us over 4 inches of liquid equivalent. Of course, it keeps the 12Z not quite as aggressive. It still brings us over 2 inches, which is probably more realistic, but still, it's going to be some unsettled periods. I'm sure it's going to make Mrs. Umbrella, a.k.a. Meredith Garofalo, the weekend meteorologist on News 12 South Shore, very happy. She'll be twirling her umbrella like Mary Poppins. But anyway, let's go to, I guess we'll go to the skies next. Obviously, we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of clear skies, but we'll go look at the skies next. Back this up here. Obviously, tomorrow we're going to be having plenty of clouds. For Wednesday, we start off with sun, but then the clouds thicken throughout the day. And then, again, the showers, the rain by evening, later in the evening. And then Thursday, we'll be dealing with clouds. Friday, hopefully, maybe we can get some sunshine, but we'll have to watch for some instability cloudiness. And then for Saturday, this is the low-resolution GFS. Probably start off with sun, and then the clouds roll in again. Because you're in that zonal pattern. It's hard to, get any clear skies. This is, again, the low-resolution GFS. Let's go to the RGM model next. Obviously, plenty of clouds for tomorrow. The RGM is trying to, show a little less to the south, but I think it might be underdone a little bit. And then you'll see we'll have a clear period tomorrow night and the wind at the early part of Wednesday, but then the series will roll in pretty quick on us on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're going to be dealing with a lot of clouds. And this is the RGM, and it almost looks like that RGM has the warm front almost past us. So let me look at this for a minute. So the RGM probably wants to bring in the warm air. Yeah, look at how close it brings it. Wow. That's pretty close right there. So, I mean, that is crazy. So you're going to be in the mid-70s in many parts of New Jersey, while we are going to be in the low 40s. How about that? This is why I don't want to wind up in Jersey, because it's so hot there. So hot there. If they're one of the fastest warming states, because they don't. The further south and west you are, the more likely you're going to be in the 80s in Maryland. They're going to a whole bunch of all-time records for February are going to be broken if this winds up panning out the way. This is, again, the RGM model. All right. Let's go now to the. I don't want to do the FV3 higher. We'll look at the NAM3 clouds, I guess. Look at the NAM3 clouds. We have some of the zeros again, but I'll stick with the 18Z run. Just to show you what's going to happen again. Tomorrow, plenty of clouds, obviously. And as we get into Wednesday, you'll see here the clouds will increase pretty quickly. So as far as getting a mostly sunny day, we're going to have to wait. And the next chance for that could be Friday. But again, that's a little ways away. So let's go to the NAM precipitation here. Look at what the NAM is doing here. It's nothing, like I said, nothing too exciting going on here. Now you'll notice to the north there will be snow that could break out tomorrow morning in Connecticut. Maybe northern, probably not at the immediate coast, though it is showing some snow there. And there's some showers for the rest of us. And then as far as tomorrow goes, there goes that little area of scattered showers in the evening. And then Wednesday is dry until we get toward the evening, and then we start seeing some. This looks like drizzle that's going to show up with that warm front, probably knowing the way the warm front goes. And you can see up to the north, there could be ice and snow. Now, if we look at the total snowfall map here, you'll see to our north, and if you're in the mountains, you might get 6 inches. So at least upstate, up north, they'll be getting some winter weather at least. But again, there could be ice, which is, like I said, a lot worse than snow. You don't want ice at all. Let's go look at the total rainfall, total cumulative precip, and you'll see not really generating a whole lot of rain for our area. So from now till at least midnight Thursday, it's not really showing a whole lot of rain here. All right. We can look at the icon as well for that. Icon, a lot different. Icon is a little heavier with the precipitation. For whatever reason. I'm not buying that. If we want to go a little further in the future, there's the NAM 12 18Z run. You can see when it brings it keeps most of the rain to our north. And it doesn't bring us much rain at all. So because of that's where the forcing is. So if we look at this here, you'll see the best areas of lift are to our north. Though, again, we have some good areas of lift here later Wednesday night, but most to the north. Nothing impressive for tomorrow at all. It's mainly up to the north that we're going to see that. You can see that's where the lift is best in the atmosphere from that warm front. Even if the warm front doesn't make it through, that's where the best lift is going to be. So, yeah, it's a little difficult to forecast, but I mean, when you look at, the weather maps, you can kind of see the way things are setting up here, So, I guess that will be it. Again, if we want to go, I don't have any more sky models. I could look at the Canadian sky model. We want to see what Friday is like, but I'm hoping maybe we can get a mostly sunny day on Friday, because, again, Saturday, we got that Cirrus approaching. It's probably going to roll in on us. Again, we're in this zonal pattern. It all boils down to the fact that we don't have a trough in the east. We have a zonal pattern. So if we look at the wind here, and we'll put this back to the GFS here, you'll see here we have that ridge, and the zone. This is not a favorable pattern for any Arctic air, any sustained cold, or any major snowfalls. Showing something there, but again, it's mostly out west, and you just got this straight zonal pattern here with this ridge that's just centered over Florida, and that's going to bring some really. Let's go to the southeast, because it's going to be pretty hot in Florida. We'll talk about it. Like I said, they're going to have temperatures near 90, which is, again, for February, is very, very unusual to see. So this is the kind of air mass that's in the southeast. You see how strong this ridge is, all right? And until that ridge gets beaten down, and you can see just by moving this along here, we'd have to wait for it to get beaten down. I'm hoping, maybe, but, time. We're running out of time here. We are running out of time here. And this is getting, the more time goes by without any sustained cold or any troughing in the east, the more likely that this winter is just going to be completely a lost cause at this point. This is, like I said, one of the warmest, pathetic winters I've ever seen. No doubt, climate change plays a major role in it, but that's not the only role. It's just a crappy pattern that is exaggerated, you could say, by climate change. And I'm hoping, we hopefully next winter we'll have a winter, but this winter it's like, forget it. We're not having winter this year. It just doesn't look like it. So that's going to be it for this weather update. Thank you for watching and have a good night.